We are at Fishing Bridge Campground in Yellowstone National Park.
And this is a campground of you. Make sure to stay to the end to see if we can confirm or bust some one-star reviews we found on Google. General impressions.
This is an expensive campground set deep in the heart of Yellowstone National Park. Campground.
We're staying in section E, which is the new loop. It's set up in a grid-style pattern. It has a pass-through in the center of the section.
Loops A through D are the older loops. They are set up in a clover-style pattern with offset back-end sites, and they have the bathrooms in between the two loops. Campsite.
Our campsite is E245. It is a cement pad pull-through site, and it has tall grass in between the sites. There are tall trees surrounding the outer edge, and there are some trees in between the sites as well. It just depends on where you are in the loop.
Not all sites are created equal in this campground. Ours is really level, and it is a pull-through, although there are definitely some non-level sites in this campground, as well as some back-end sites.
Yeah, we definitely saw some leveling blocks as we walked around the campground. Our site did have 50 and 30 amps, so hashtag 50. We also had water and sewer full hookups at this site. We do have a picnic table at our site, but there are no grills or fire rings, and fire rings are not allowed in this campground. They have a dump station, but no propane refill.
No surprises here at a national park. They do not have free Wi-Fi available. Verizon, on the other hand, was good enough for emailing and Googling.
Like Googling.
Yeah. Starlink, though, is your source for streaming, but it may vary depending on your site.
The noise level of this campground was generally quiet. We did see some reviews and experienced ourselves that it can be a little bit noisy depending on your neighbors. Some of the sites are pretty close together, and if it's the last night, the last hurrah, and they want to spend that last night out, you know, talking and getting the last little bit of vacation time in, it can be noisy. Last night we were able to hear the neighbors over top of the TV inside our RV.
This is a 3-day weekend, though, so maybe that has something to do with it.
I'm sure it probably does.
Amenities.
They do have bathrooms in between loops A and B, as well as loops C and D, and then there are 2 bathrooms in loop E, one on either side of the park. But I'll be honest, from the back half of the park, they're really not convenient. There are no pass-throughs, as we mentioned before, to get to them.
Unlike the rest of the national park, they are not pit toilets.
Yeah, they are actual plumbing, which is really nice. They also look fairly new, and they are clean. They have showers located at the office area. It does require you to have a shower chit. I don't know what you would call it, like a little ticket in order to go in and get your shower. And from what it appears to me, it appears that they authorize 1 shower per person per night. So there is that, but they have them available. It's a pretty good distance from the E-loop.
Shower chit, huh?
Well, what would you call it?
No, that's what I would call it. Which should tell you something.
Should I do it again and say ticket? I mean, it's not a token. What would you call it?
I would call it a shower chit.
Well, what else should it be called?
The dumpsters are easily located throughout the park.
They also have a laundry room at the office area, and by laundry room, I should really call it like a laundry mat. It was huge. It is probably the biggest laundry mat or laundry room I've ever seen at a campground. Numerous washers and dryers, the jumbo dryers too, and it was $3 for wash and $2 for dry.
You'll probably have to drive there, though.
No shocker here, there's no pool or playground at this state park. They do have a water refill station in the laundry room, which is kind of bougie.
And Yellowstone Lake's about a mile away, if you really want to.
It's called Yellowstone Lake, though.
I think it is.
We'll look it up.
A few moments later.
No, you're right. Dog friendliness.
They do allow dogs in the park, although you must keep them on the parking lot areas and other paved trails. You cannot take them on any of the boardwalks or any of the trails throughout the park. They also must be on a 6-foot leash. There is no off-leash dog area in the campground. They did have pickup stations located at the bathrooms, which were discreetly camouflaged and very hard to see. They were definitely in plain gray wrappers and in incognito mode.
They want to stay anonymous.
But they were fully stocked.
They were. That's the most important part.
As long as you could find them.
We passed by them several times before we realized that's what they were. We were looking for those things.
We found them when we were investigating the bathrooms.
Right.
Camp store.
They do have a camp store at the office area, and it has soda, ice cream, and some swag items. There is a larger general store less than a mile down the road, and they've got just about everything. Huge area for swag, a general store, a sporting area, and even a diner and a coffee bar.
Camp staff interactions.
We didn't really have much interactions with the staff while we were here, but the staff on check-in were friendly and personable.
Especially the confused guy when he was trying to wave me in like an airplane. And then I didn't follow his instructions.
Like with most people that help you with parking advice, you just don't follow the instructions.
I was not prepared to to be landed like an airplane.
Additional information.
At the general store area, they have a gas station with diesel, which is really nice. They also have an auto part and RV part store and a repair shop. But expect theme park pricing at both the general store and repair shops.
And the diner.
Definitely.
Definitely. And the sportsman shop. And all the places.
And we're talking about 20% more than you would normally pay out in town.
No. Not for the groceries. For the groceries, some of the items I priced, they were more like 50% markup at least.
I'm sure Amy will put the pictures up
Or
here.
100%
You know, for a little thing of Folgers, it was $10.
Yeah, not even a pound. It was 10 ounces of Folgers. It was $10. So definitely want to stock up on all your groceries and items like that before you come to this campground, because the closest town, Walmart, big grocery store, is over an hour away. But any of the Huckleberry style things like the pancake mix and stuff like that, it's like, oh, maybe we'll get that for the pancake mix. It was $16.99, so I thought maybe not. I'm not sure I love pancakes that much. I was pleasantly surprised to see that they did have like the RV parts and auto parts and repair store, because I wasn't expecting that, and I was thinking that could be a little problematic. Like if you have problems, you know, what do you do? And so it's nice to know, it's comforting to know that that's just down the street. They actually have them at a couple places, and that they have diesel inside the park available is also huge.
Because it's over an hour to Cody. And now we come to the part of the review where we talk about 1 star, whether they're confirmed or busted. And you know this is my favorite part because I make the thumbnails.
Okay, Goldilocks. But before we get to that, please make sure to like and subscribe. Subscriptions are free, and it really helps our channel continue to grow. Rochelle H. writes, stayed in August 2022. It stinks. Many sites right on top of your neighbor, no space between, and no picnic tables. We were in Loop C, and it's expensive. It is expensive.
It is. And we can also confirm that there are no picnic tables in loops A through D.
We did go to Loop C and checked, but we did not detect any odor. So as far as Loop C stinking, that's busted.
Busted.
As many people have stated, the sites are a little tight. Look at that. How do we look like sardines?
I don't know.
Do we look like sardines yet?
I think we do.
There's lots of comments about sardines.
I think we're making the people gag though. Brian M. writes, never again. Worst campsite I've ever had. So small I couldn't use my awning. Had to park my truck next to my camper. Could not even get out of the passenger doors. No picnic tables. Rangers think they are SWAT teams. And food sucks in the park. 1 star.
Unfortunately, we can confirm that not all sites can use their awnings. It isn't loop specific, it really is site specific. We were able to get our passenger doors open, but some of those sites were pretty tight.
Loop E does have picnic tables, but unfortunately it is farthest from the amenities.
We ate at several places in the park, and the food was not the best food we've ever had, but it certainly didn't suck.
This definitely isn't the worst campsite we've ever stayed at.
And we're not sure what they were doing at their campsite, but we never had any SWAT team members knock on our door. Vern C. writes, this park is without a doubt the poorest design of any park or campground I've been to. Only a person, one that hates campers, would provide this design. I think every single site could have been a pull-through. A little more room in each site would be nice too, but I understand they only have about 2 million acres to work with. I will not be staying at Fishing Bridge again unless it's changed. 1 star. This is definitely not the poorest design in a campground that we've seen.
Dora.
We can confirm that most of the back ends probably could have been pull-throughs.
Well, we can confirm that they do have 2.2 million acres.
Give or take.
They can't make it all into a campground, otherwise we'd have no park left to visit.
We understand that that's not exactly what they mean, and it would be nice to have a little bit more space between the sites.
But we will most likely stay here again, so we're calling this one Busted.
Now we're going to move to the part we call Love It or Hate It. We'll start off with the negative and then finish up with a positive. So Mike, what was the part you disliked the most about this campground?
Definitely was the pricing. The price for what you get is extremely high.
Mine was the limited availability for large rigs, and I think that part of that is due to the fact that they don't really have any regulation in regards to which people can reserve the large sites. And the reason that's problematic is because for people with large rigs like ours, there are a very limited number of sites in Yellowstone available. So these sites fill up really quickly, especially the ones in Fishing Bridge that have full hookups. We actually booked this back in February, and by February it was already booked solid. We had a cancellation that we were able to pick up, and that's how we got the 3 days here. So let's leave all that behind us, move on to the parts we loved about this campground. What was your favorite part?
I really like the fact that unlike the other campgrounds in Yellowstone, this one has full hookups.
That is really nice. I loved the location because it is so centrally located. An easy drive to the lake or to some of the thermal areas or to see some of the wildlife. Super convenient to the places you want to go. The cost for this campground was $110 per night. That is really on the high end for us, and this doesn't have any of the resort features that you would see in most campgrounds that are at that price, but it's all about location here. You can't beat the location, and we understand that that's really what you're paying for. If you liked this campground review and you'd like to see others that we've done, please check them out over here. Or if you'd like to see what adventures we got into while we were here, check it out in our vlog up here. Click it, do it.